Hi, we're the Clark family, and we've sold our house and packed up our lives and moved to Galicia in northern Spain.
So follow us as we start our new lives, learn new skills, join a new community, and try to live a more sustainable life.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Escape Trail Campo. We're up in our little woods at the minute. We've not been up here for a few weeks and it's gone absolutely crazy with grass and brambles and stinging nettles. Yeah, looks like a lot of work up here, which we don't really have time for, but I guess we're going to have to try and squeeze it in somewhere. I'll just give you a 360 spin round so you can have a look at what we're dealing with. Looks quite nice on the video there, but most of that greenery is brambles and stinging nettles and stuff we don't really want, but I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do with it other than just keep getting the old brush cutter on it and keep cutting it down. Yeah, so anybody's got any ideas, yeah, please drop a comment below and let us know. So as promised last week, we're going to have a quick tour around the what we've been up to, the stuff that we've planted, the stuff that we're growing, just to give you an update, because I think it's been probably 6 or 8 weeks, couple of months since we did that last. So we'll give you a bit of a tour. We'll have a look at the willows that we planted in January. We'll have a quick walk past the chickens, because everybody likes to have a look at the chickens jumping up and down. And then we'll head down past the fruit trees and down into the garden, look in the polytunnel and see what's going on there. So here we go. So for those of you new to the channel, we planted 200 willow trees up here with the aim of becoming self-sufficient in firewood in a few years time. Now willow, perhaps not the obvious choice for firewood, but these are specifically bred trees for firewood, and they're used in willow plantations for that very purpose. So we planted these in, I think it was January, maybe early February, and basically it's a 30 centimeter long rod of willow which just gets put into the ground, and you just leave them and away they go and they grow, and they did grow very quickly from the offset. However, their growth has really slowed down over the last month. I don't know whether because it's, well, I was going to say because it's warm here, but it's not. We've not had a lot of warm weather. It's been I don't know, perhaps 16, 17 degrees. Well, no, perhaps not even that. And extremely wet. So I'd have thought that we've had lots of growth from them, but we don't seem to. But they are still growing. They are still looking relatively healthy. We have lost some, I think probably to deer. We actually saw it at our first deer yesterday when we went down to collect the water. So yeah, I'm not going to say it's a success yet. The jury is still out, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so leaving where the willows are, we'll have a wander across to see everybody's favourite 6 egg-laying chickens, our ladies. Lovely day here today in Galicia. Had a couple of nice days now after what seemed a very extended spell of rain and cold weather. It's nice to be back out just in t-shirts again. So here we go. Here's the ladies. Here they come. They've already had their greens today, so we're not gonna, there you go, you see it hanging up there. So we're not gonna see any jumping antics today, I don't think. There they are, they're all very healthy, very happy. Still eating well, drinking well, scratching around, and yeah, loving their daily dose of greens from down in the garden.
A spider's just legged it and she got chased
It's a shame.
got it. Yeah, she was like a spider. The tile that I brought in from there was covered in ants and they had a right field day with that as well.
We've not collected their eggs today, so we could pop in and have a look at the see what the score is for the day. We've been having pretty consistent 6 eggs a day off them at the minute, varying in sizes. Egg news, if everybody's interested in egg news. We had our first double yolker this week as well. It was a massive egg. Must have took some squeezing out. But yeah, a double yolker. Happy days. Okay, this is the entrance to the chicken coop where they nest of an evening. It's where the cat lives as well. In here, in a box at the top there. That's where his bed is. I don't think he's in. We think he's gone out. Yeah, so here we go. Just pop the light on. So yeah, again, anybody who's followed our video for a while will know that the chickens won't roost unless there's a light on in here so they can see what they're doing. So they come in at night through the little hatch there. That's an automated hatch. It opens and shuts in the morning, at night. But if this light isn't on when they come in, they sit on the floor and don't roost. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, 6 for the day. Any warm ones?
No, I don't think so. They've been there for a while. Cool.
Lovely. There we go. 6 lovely eggs.
That's a particularly big one today.
Yeah. So one of the drawbacks of the chickens not roosting if the light's not on is that they huddle down in this corner, and you can see that they just poop everywhere on the floor. Whereas if the light's on and they roost, do you want to come out to me now? And they roost, then they poop. We have these bags on the floor there, and they poop straight onto the bags, and it's just very easy to take these are old feed bags. We just take the old feed bags out, shake the manure into the compost heap, throw the bag away. So we're getting a bit of extra use out of the bag, so it's not completely wasted. Yeah, so it looks like the light wasn't on, hasn't been on for a night, because these chicks were actually cleaned. When were they cleaned out? 2 days ago. Yeah, this was completely cleaned out, and we gave it a proper spring clean 2 days ago. And yeah, they've not roosted at least one of those days, and that's why there's so much poop on the floor. So earlier in the year, never having done any sort of vine pruning before, and watching a load of YouTube videos, we took it upon ourselves to prune these grapevines, and we didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't know whether we were doing it right or wrong. However, I think these are bunches of grapes. Some more there, growing upwards. I guess gravity's going to get the better of them soon. And some more there. And some more there. So, despite not knowing what we were doing, it seems as though nature has taken things into our own hands, and looks like we're going to get some grapes with a bit of luck. This one here, the leaves are different on this because this is a kiwi, and I think it's a female kiwi because you have to have male and females with the kiwis. This isn't one that we've planted, this is one that was already here. So I doubt if this has ever had any fruit on, because there isn't a male kiwi around to sort of fertilise the flowers. However, we have planted a male one, so hopefully maybe next year or the year after this will start getting some fruit off of this one. And these are more. You hear our cockerel in the background, very vocal. It's their last day on this earth today. Tomorrow they're going in the freezer tomorrow. Yeah, so there we go. I'm pleased. We're pleased with the grapevines. Let's have a quick spin round. Okay, so we've got this is an apple tree. Again, never having done any pruning or anything, we took upon ourselves to do it, and yeah, we seem to have a lot of apples. Some more there, yeah, so apples everywhere. So I think whatever we did sort of worked, and this tree in particular has got lots of it's got lots of apples. The tree next to it is just blooming now, so I guess these are different varieties, different times of the year. Happy days. Okay, so walking down the garden towards these are the fruit trees that we've planted. Got this one here is a plum tree, seems to be doing okay. Something's definitely nibbling on the leaves, for definite of that one. Well, this is a mature plum that was obviously in before we arrived, and again we pruned that back this year. I did see some plums on it before, but now they elude me, so perhaps it's not going to be a good. Oh no, there's a. You see that one in there? Oh, there's one there. And one there. Oh, there are some. One there. And I guess the same with the plums and the apples. I suppose it depends how much rain we get. You know, if we have a very dry summer, the tree will drop the fruit and we won't have a harvest. But at the minute it's looking quite good, especially on the apple front. So we'll spin round and carry on walking down towards these are the fruit trees that we planted. Yeah, we've still not changed the kiwi trellis yet. I've got a plan for that, to recycle an old swing that's in the garden and to give us some more substantial. Well, I don't think these are going to need them this year. Okay, so earlier I was talking about the male and female kiwis. I think this is a male, despite from what I can read, this is a male, and this is the male part. Is that the right technical term?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So this is a male tree. That one, and this one just here are the female trees, and obviously the big one back up with the grapevines. So when this one grows, hopefully we'll be getting plenty of kiwis. Okay, so this is a peach tree, as is the one behind us, which initially, yeah, growing very nicely. However, we've noticed over the last few weeks that the leaves have gone from a healthy looking green to this red colour, and it looks like they're sort of blistering and curling up. We've done some research on it, and it's some sort of fungus, which we need to spray 3 times a year, I think it is. So when they drop the leaves in autumn, then again in spring, just as their leaves are forming, and then sort of midsummer time, I think it was. So what we're going to do, we're going to hope these are going to survive, but when the leaves drop in the autumn, we're going to go and get some of this antifungal spray and spray it, and that's the same with this and the tree behind us. So if we move on to this, what is this one? This is a nectarine, and you can see exactly the same things happening with this. You know, the nice green leaves are all going red and blistered. They're all going red and blistered. In fact, it has got a little bit of fruit on there, but I don't think that's going to make anything now. It looks a bit healthier than the peach trees, but yeah, it's certainly got this same fungal infection. So we'll be spraying this one as well. Then we'll move on to the pear trees. Now, we've planted 6 conference type pears. Type, is that the, yeah? Make?
Variety.
Variety. And out of the 6, I think only 3 have grown. It looks to be doing okay, I think. The leaves look a little bit eaten. Leaves look a little bit eaten, but yeah, at least they're alive, and they don't seem to have the same sort of fungal infection that the other ones do. So yeah, these ones here, the 2 at the bottom, they've just never grown. There's no leaves. Yeah, no, nothing. I think it's, yeah, I mean, there's no green inside that at all. So I think these will probably be replaced next spring, I would have thought.
They do it in the autumn? Didn't we put them in like November time?
I can't remember when we did. Maybe. But anyway, I think these will be replaced. Yeah. Shame, but I guess these things happen, don't they? Part of life and gardening that we we deal with these problems. So we'll move on down to the garden area. Emma can talk you through that because she spends most time titivating with the plants down there. I just seem to spend time pulling weeds out. So we'll have a wander down there. Yeah, so as you can see, we've took the cover off the pool. Now I don't think this pool has been used for, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, and the water in it is absolutely disgusting. But it's 25,000 litres of water, and I'm not really sure that I can justify emptying it out and using 25,000 litres of the either our groundwater or from the Aldea up the road. So we're going to see if we can clean it up. Whether we can or not is a different matter. And this whole area along the bottom here, we're going to transform this into, it's going to be another little project that we'll capture on video for you, but this is going to be sort of a relaxing area for us with sort of a bench and some nice lighting and maybe even some outdoor speakers and stuff, so the kids can be in the pool and Emma and I can be sat on the sofa reading and having a wine or whatever, or a non-alcoholic wine in Emma's case. So yeah, that's another ongoing project. So if we have a walk down the garden. Zane actually cut the grass this week. He's not finished it yet, mind you, but what he did do, he did a decent job. So these are the last 9 chickens we have, who, like I said earlier, are due for the fridge tomorrow, or for the freezer tomorrow. since we harvested the white chickens, which was 3 or 4 weeks ago now, these guys have really grown, and they're, you can tell by when we still have to come and tuck them away at night because they still can't go up the ramp. So when we're putting them away at night, you can feel the weight of them, and these are as heavy as what the white chickens were now. So hopefully we're going to get some good weight out of them. Majority of them are cockerels as well. I think we've only got 2 or 3 hens in there. The rest are cockerels, hence the loud noise constantly. Do you want to have a look at this apple tree? Because this, again, we've got lots of these apple trees. Can you guess which way the prevailing wind blows? But they seem to be doing really well. We cut this back last year as well, but as you can see, it's absolutely loaded with apples. So I guess if we get a nice warm summer with plenty of rain, you know, we're going to have lots of apples off of this. And I think what we're going to have to do with this one is perhaps put a stake in the middle here, because with it being off balance like that and being loaded up with apples, it could sort of snap it over. So what I'm going to do is drive the stake in here and tie it up, and maybe even stake the 2 ends as well, as we will with this apple tree over here. Yeah, and again, see lots and lots of apples on here, and again, I guess we'll have to stake it to stop it snapping over. With the chicken tractor, we move it every day. You can see the sort of mess that the guys make as we, you know, they're there for a day, and then there for a day, and then there for a day, and there for a day. But you know, this soon grows back. This is all great fertilizer for the ground and for the grass. So we, you know, hopefully it's going to make the ground, you know, much more fertile up here. Yeah, happy days. Okay, let's get down to the garden, and then Emma can have a chat with you.
I apologise if I immediately go very sweaty, but it's incredibly warm in here, despite the fact that the door's been open since first thing this morning. So I'm sure you can see behind me that our onions are still drying out nicely. We turn them about once a week just to make sure that they're getting dry on both sides. Very occasionally we come across one that's gone a bit soft and soggy, and then I'm just kind of tossing them out. But tonight when we make dinner will be our first time of actually trying one of our onions, which is very exciting. So if I start on the seed table, I've got some celery that doesn't seem to be doing very well in the seed trays, so I've kind of put them into a bigger pot in the hope that they get a bit of life before I put them outside. And then I've got 2 rows of tomatoes that, again, ones that weren't quite big enough, ready to go outside at the time, potted them up trying to get them a bit of strength. And the same with some peppers. These are my only cayenne and jalapenos that actually grew from when we planted them back in February. So again, not really feeling very confident about these. But this is a tray full of all herbs and spices where I'm planning on making a little herb garden. So yeah, plenty more ready to add to what already is a lot of food that we're growing. So I think that you watched us plant the tomatoes maybe some 2 weeks ago, and the other ones maybe another week or so ago before that. And as you can see, they're doing incredibly well. I'm not an expert in tomatoes, but I've watched loads of YouTube videos, and I'm remembering to take out the little armpit leaves that grow in between the main leaf branches, and taking them off when they're getting too big, or yeah, general tomato maintenance. Yeah, they seem to be doing all right. Flowering nicely, which is exciting, which means we actually have got some tomatoes due to arrive soon. Can't get this one out now. There we go. In and amongst the tomatoes, we've planted some flowers to encourage pollination and encourage the bees and stuff to come in. Some of them are doing a lot better than others. That's a dahlia, and then these ones here are
Marigolds.
Marigolds, thank you. Something has started eating some of these, but I'm not too cross. I'd much rather they're eating the marigolds than actually eating my tomato plants, so I don't mind too much about that.
What variety of tomatoes do you have in here, Em, and what are they for?
So this side, these first ones are cherry tomatoes. They're for adding to salads and for eating. And then about halfway down it swaps over to Marmande tomatoes, which is what you would call, they're like a big beef tomato. Unfortunately, these plants don't seem to be doing quite so well, but we'll have to wait and see. And then all of the ones on this side are, I think they're called corazon, corazon tomatoes, and these are really not got very thick skins, and they're very fleshy inside for making things like tomato sauces and pasta sauces and that kind of thing. So we eat loads and loads of tomato based dinners, like chili and curry and all sorts of things like that. So we're planning on making all of our own passata or tomato sauces, so that's why we've got so many of them going. Down here's our pepper plants, 2 yellows followed by a padron, this is a spicy padron, so they're smaller than your usual pepper, a bit bigger than a jalapeno, delicious. And then 3 red pepper plants. We've not bothered growing any green peppers because, I mean, I know that you can add them to things that you cook, but I'm not massively keen on the taste of a green pepper, so I've not bothered growing them. This was a bit of a revelation for us recently, and you might think that we sound really stupid, but I always assumed that a green pepper was one that was picked when it was not quite fully ripe, and then it turned yellow, and then it turned red. And it's only very recently that we've both learned completely independently of each other that that's not the case, and they're 3 different plants. And yeah, it's amazing the things that you learn on this journey. So over this side we've got all of our cucumbery, melony kind of things. So the cucumbers down here, they were a bit pathetic, a bit like this one's a little bit pathetic for ages. And then all of a sudden in these last couple of days the sun's come out and they've all gone crazy. They're finally growing, so that's exciting.
What are these big green plants here, Em?
These are also the flowers that we've got on the other side. What are they called?
Calendula?
No. Same as them ones.
Marigolds.
Marigolds. More marigolds, which have grown a lot bigger than what I was expecting them to grow. So I do wonder whether I need to take some of them out to give some space for the other plants. Just there. I don't know why they've gone so much more crazy this side than the other side. But they're doing good. I'm looking forward to seeing the bright orange flowers in here. Just here, these are 2 loofah plants, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, they look a bit like a cucumber. Then you let them dry on the plant, take the skin off, and it's a natural sponge, which I was really excited about growing, but not sure why they're not quite so happy. These are melon plants. We did also plant some melons outside, but they've died. They're really not happy outside. First ones, I'm not sure what variety they are. These next ones are Crimson Sweets. Again, not doing quite so well. And then at the end here, these are Sugar Baby melons. Not doing so well. But you never know, we've got some sun now, they're being watered regularly. Hopefully they'll come to life soon. Outside. So we planted these garlics, I think in October of last year, and by the leaves that are starting to yellow and starting to go droopy, I'm fairly certain that means that they're about ready to come out. So we'll probably take these out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, looks like it's got a nice big bulb underneath there. Whether or not it's separated into its individual cloves yet, I'm not sure. But yeah, as for an experiment, I think that's gone really, really well. But further down this bed, these are collies, a local plant. It's like a cabbage, isn't it? But you just eat the leaves. These were given to us by another neighbour back in January, I think. These have been planted in January. These are doing really well. The chickens are loving these leaves. And we've been collecting the carcasses for the chickens that we've been eating, and I'm going to make a traditional Galician caldo with some of these leaves and some of those chickens in there. When we pruned the apple trees back in the winter, we kept the branches to use for supports for things like this, and I cannot believe that they're all starting to flower. I mean, obviously I knew that willows did that because we planted willows. Didn't even occur to me that the apple trees might do the same thing. But adds a bit of colour, looks really pretty. And then down here we have strawberry plants, and we do have some strawberries growing, which is super exciting. Please excuse the grass that's growing in here. Something that we do very regularly. It's an ongoing losing battle that we don't seem to be doing very well with. But yeah, the strawberries don't seem to mind too much that they're having to share their space. So in this bed, starting off with some peas. Doing all right. They're looking like they're perhaps ready for me to put in the next row of trellis. At the stakes we've got planted some sunflowers, just some dwarf sunflowers, and as you can see it's just starting to get a head on there, again for a bit of colour. Now unfortunately I think that we've planted our tomatoes outside too soon, and they were okay when we first put them out because it was sunny and it was warm, and then we've just come out of 2 weeks of pretty solid rain, so they're looking a bit twiggy and a bit sorry for themselves, and well, that one over there is completely gone. But yeah, from here onwards, they're looking very, very sad. But it's a lesson learned. You know what to do. And again, in and amongst our tomatoes, we planted some flowers. These are nasturtiums for a bit of colour and for a bit of pollination. And thankfully, these are doing a bit better. We've actually got some flowers coming soon. And again, excuse the amount of grass.
It's an ongoing battle.
An ongoing, very losing battle. In this bed here, we've got, down the middle is all red onions, and on the side nearest to me, these are all white onions, and on the far edge away from me there, different types of lettuce, and I think also some rainbow chard in there as well, because they all grow really well together. And I wasn't sure how well these were going to grow, because I think we might have been a little bit late putting them out, but they've gone for it. We rotivated this row before we put in anything in here, after we took the plastic up, and although we were dead against it for a start, it's a lot more successful. There is a lot less grass than what there is on the other two beds, because I think we rotivated it. So it's not quite so bad. I'm hoping that once these onions and lettuces and stuff bush up a little bit, it will suppress the grass. underneath them, so thankfully not quite so much work involved in this row. And then if we come back to the other side, this is where you can sadly see all of the melons have died. Too cold, too wet, not happy. It's not something that I've ever seen for sale in any of the kind of plant shops either, so it's not like I can buy a happy plant to put in here. This is a loofah. So got
The sole surviving outdoor loofah.
yeah. And then I have some cucumbers. 1, 2, 3, 4 cucumbers, of which one looks alright. And a very happy nasturtium to go with it. Now we take it down this row. So along with a lot of tomato based dinners, we eat a lot of bean based dinners, and I tend to stick beans in a lot of things that we eat because they're super good for you and super healthy. So rather than continuously buying them, I've got the space, why not grow them? So I think that these ones are traditional beans that you put in a cow. So these are fabas beans. And then we have, I think they're called chichos beans. And then we also have French runner beans and, runner beans and dwarf French beans. They're looking incredibly dirty, where we've had so much rain and the dirt's just kind of splashed back on them. And they were looking a bit overweighted by mud for a start, and are looking a bit sorry for themselves, but I'm really pleased that a lot of them have sort of sprung back, so that's a massive relief. And then down the middle of all of these beds I planted loads of tomato seeds, and none of them seem to be doing very much apart from occasionally, not tomato seeds, what am I saying, carrot seeds, but there are the occasional one just starting to pop up. Thankfully, not had very much success with carrots.
We had one carrot, what are you on about?
We did have one carrot.
That is a massive success.
Not quite as successful as what the onions were, to be fair.
It had 2 legs and a willy. What more do you want?
Again, we rotated this row, and then afterwards I raked it over to take out as much of the grass on the top that I could, which was really, really successful at the other end of the bed, and at this end less successful, but there was more grass at this end initially anyway. But yeah, that felt like a bit of a win. And then our most recent, well, kind of visible plant bed, we have got 2 different types of broccoli, 2 different types of beetroot, and something called repollo, which is absolutely beautiful. And again, was looking sad, now looking a lot happier. That's a whole row of them. Where I ran out of beetroot plants, I planted some spinach seeds, so hopefully we'll start seeing them come up soon. And then in this bed behind me here, because we didn't plant enough potatoes on the tractor, I have planted another bed of potatoes. And the Women in Farmers meeting that I went to, gosh, I think that was back in March, when we did the seed swap, I was given some normal potatoes and some purple potatoes then to plant, and I sort of forgotten about them until I came across them. So I thought, well, I've got them, why not plant them? So that's most of those 2 different types of potato, and also I've planted some of the potatoes that were given from a neighbour, which is from last year's crop, as an experiment. Everybody seems to buy seed potatoes every year to plant them. I thought, well, let's see how much we're actually going to get out of last year's yield to just sort of compare really. So that's what I've got in here. This is where we planted nearly 1,000 potatoes, and after a very, very slow start and a very worrying, are they all going to rot away, they're growing. and they seem to be doing super well, so that's amazing. We were really worried that the grass was going to take over and that they were all going to rot because we had so much rain, and thankfully the neighbours are alright, we were alright, and we're going to have an abundance of potatoes. However, as you can now see, the grass situation is still out of control, and despite our best efforts, we're not winning.
I think the only positive point on this is that the potatoes seem to be outgrowing the grass at the minute. So even though that looks like the grass is inundated with, or the potatoes are inundated with grass, the potatoes are actually growing quicker than the grass, and I'm hoping once they bush up they're going to completely shade it all out and hopefully kill most of it off and save my little pinkies from the weeding. So you find me stood in our little field of maize. So this is maize for animal consumption. It's not sweet corn. I explained at the time that this maize was dyed red to show that it was for animal consumption. And yeah, as you can see, it's growing really well. And our little push along sowing machine seems to have planted it quite well. I mean, they're reasonably regular in where they're coming up, and they're in reasonable sort of straight lines. So I think that's a bit of a win. I think we've been quite fortunate with this area as well, that the couch grass is not so bad. I mean, we have got, just where Emma's filming just there's a bad bit, and you can see the odd patch here and there, but the majority of it is not too bad. And while the ground looks really dry and it's quite hard on the top, all you've got to do is scrape that layer off, and it's really wet underneath. So yeah, it's good, it's growing well. Fingers crossed, we're going to have a decent maize harvest, so we can feed to the chickens, and maybe early next year some pigs that we're planning to get. So these are our 30 apple trees, and again, for those who haven't been following us or are new to the channel, we planted 6 apple trees which are for eating. Was it 3 varieties or 2? I can't remember now.
The cider?
No, the eating, or they're all the same. I thought they were different varieties for eating. I think we've got 3 different varieties for eating, and then 3 different varieties for cider, or I may be completely wrong. There's definitely 3 different varieties for cider. So we've got 6 apples trees for eating, and the rest, the 24, are for making cider. And as you can see, they seem to be growing really well. The leaves are nice and green and lush. I mean, they have been nibbled a little bit, but they look really healthy. So these 6 are these 6 here are the eating trees, and if we walk down further, from here onwards, these are the cider trees, and again, they all look very healthy, all look really lush. Yeah, really pleased with them, really pleased with them.
We bought 3 different types of cider tree, 8 of 3 different types of cider tree, 3 red, 3 green eating apples.
Ah, right, okay, then, so two different types of eating apples.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There we go then. So we all know what we're growing now, don't we? So,
sorry, I had to think so hard to try and remember. So long ago.
Happy days. And as you can see, the grass is endlessly growing. I think I cut down here.
The last time it was sunny, so 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So I've not been able to get down there because it's been too wet for the little lawnmower. So it's a job for this weekend. I know it's a bank holiday in the UK, but it's not here. But I don't have to work Monday, so I'll be able to get on the lawnmower down here and get this cut. As regards more planting stuff, so beyond the maize, you can see I've put this, I've just put a track across there, I've got the old rotivator so we know where it starts and stops. We're going to be planting, I'm going to rotivate this and try and get this grass down again. We're going to plant some chickpeas and beyond that, sunflowers. And I think that's pretty much our main planting done, apart from some interplanting, and when the garlic comes out, we'll be putting something in to replace the garlic and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, all good stuff.
Shall we go and show them our failed Three Sisters planting?
Well, where the grass has defeated us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do.
Come on then. Over there. I feel a bit bad for saying that it was failed because actually they are growing.
I can't see any sign of any bean growing.
No, so this is a sweet corn and this is a squash. So whether that's a pumpkin or butternut squash or aubergine or whatever, I don't know. And within them all, I planted beans. I planted one bean here and one bean here for them to grow up with. And the beans don't seem to have grown. But I do feel bad for saying that it was a failed area because, again, I mean, you might be able to be able to make out just there another sweet corn, another squash, sweet corn, squash. So they are pointing out the ones near you, ads. Squash.
That's got a flower on it.
It has got a flower on it.
Sweet corn.
Yeah.
No beans.
No beans.
Yeah,
but you can just about make out down the line. I mean, we're at an angle, so the line goes that way and that way. And they're not gone, but there are no beans. On there.
The grass has defeated us.
The grass has defeated us. But hopefully, maybe these squashes will spread and take out the grass.
Now it's warmed up a bit, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, this sweet corn here is being choked.
Okay, that's it for this week then, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little tour. We'll perhaps do this once every 4 or 5 weeks just to give you an update about where things are growing and what's happening. As you can tell, we're probably spending the next week weeding and cutting grass. I think that's about the extent of our jobs, isn't it?
Pretty much. But we'll get started on the pool area as well. Hopefully the stone's coming for that on Monday. Hopefully the wood should be available Tuesday. So should get a bit of that thrown in the mix as well.
Yeah, hopefully so. So have a great weekend, a bank holiday weekend if you're in the UK. Enjoy your extra day off of work. And we'll see you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.